Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of Thrasher Opera House Presents. Jason Mansmith once again filling in for new mom Rachel Avery here on the podcast. Happy to be joined by Rick Alfonso from the Second City. Rich, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Hey, awesome. Let's talk about the show. You guys are coming to Green Lake, bringing the whole crew on July the 16th. It seems like it's been in Green Lake, I don't know, forever. Like it's a standard customary thing. Obviously, COVID messed up a few things, but back in the full swing of it. And we're so excited to have you. What can our folks look forward to seeing that show?
Well, first of all, we're happy to be back in Green Lake. This actually will be my first time going as a touring company member, so I'm super excited about that. So, I mean, really, what everyone can expect is just like a good old time. I mean, we've been about 2 years without having to be on the road and performing shows and whatnot. So, as we've been slowly kind of getting back into our comedic chops and improvising and acting, we're just looking to have like a good old time, like make people forget about what's going on and just have a good old belly laugh with a bunch of strangers in a in a theater. So there'll be songs, there'll be some improv, there'll be some audience stuff, and yeah, hopefully it's just a good time for everybody all around.
You've got the luxury of having the Second City kind of background with you and just years, over 60 years of comedy prowess in there. Just talk about what it means to be a part of the company.
And you mentioned it right there. I mean, like it's 60 years, and something that we say in our intros when we do the show is that we're the longest running sketch comedy theater in the entire world. I mean, that's not nothing to shake your head at. So just to be inside of a building where that pretty much any aspect of comedy that you've loved or watched or read, Second City has touched a part of that. We list our alumni, go all the way back to Alan Arkin to current cast members like Adie Bryan and Chris Redd, who've been in anywhere from like Saturday Night Live to movies and all these sorts of things. So when you walk into the building and you step upon the stages, you do kind of get this sense of this honor in a way, comedy honors in a way. I call it and many people call it affectionately, the Harvard of comedy, just because so many things come out of there. And yeah, when you have that behind you, it kind of gives you like this credibility. That being said, you also got to be pretty funny as well too. So
exactly, it's kind of the essential for that. Talk about your journey to becoming a member of Second City.
Wow. So I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania originally, and after college, I was kind of working a really dull office job. I got it through college, and fresh out of college, I was working, and I was just like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like I'm not having fun. I'm not feeling like I'm supposed to be doing what I wanted to do. And all signs pointed to following comedy. And when I started researching, like what's the best place that I can go to like really absorb comedy, and at that point, improv wasn't really something that I knew of, except for like maybe Whose Line Is It Anyway on TV, which I'm sure most people are familiar with. And every time I looked up, comedy, Chicago, 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 that was the name that kept coming up. And with that was Second City. So I said, all right, what's the Second City all about? I went and saw my first show at the Second City back in 2010. It was a main stage review called Taming of the Flu. And I was blown away. I absolutely, the fact that these cast of people were performing 6 to 7 nights a week and getting laughs. And I'm like, you can do this? I was like, does somebody know that people are getting away with this? They're doing this on a nightly basis. Right. So from then on, I made it my business to be like, I'm going to go out to Chicago. I'm going to study at Second City. And 6, 7, 8 years of classes later, I was able to get my first professional job with Second City, which was touring on Norwegian cruise lines. For the longest time, Second City used to have a cast that would go on many of their ships. And the reason I got that job is because I was part of this really great diversity scholarship called the Bob Curry Fellowship, which awards a lot of diverse actors the opportunity to get a 2-month masterclass in everything comedy through Second City. So sketch writing, acting, singing, you name it, we went through it. And then from there on, I just started working all sorts of capacities around the building, understudying. And then eventually, about a year and a half ago, I got offered to be a member of the touring company.
I think when people think Second City, they automatically assume it's all about improv. But as you're talking about, those classes and those opportunities to learn go way beyond just the improv part of it.
Exactly. I mean, the idea is like, where we tell people because we get a lot of people who come see the show and they heard the name, but they don't know exactly what they're going to expect. They're just like, is this a stand-up show? What is this? So we basically say you're watching what Saturday Night Live does on a weekly basis. We have sketch, and all of those sketches are put together through improvisation. In our main stage and our ETC, those are our resident stages. We go through a process where a rehearsal happens, people pitch ideas, and the director will basically say, hey, let's go ahead and improvise these. Like, no script, here are the beats, here are the characters, just go ahead and improvise it. Once it's done on the stage, they talk about it afterwards and they go, okay, this worked, this didn't work, this didn't work. What can we do to kind of make this a sketch? And then we improvise it a series of times until finally a director will go, all right, I think we have the framework, let's script it, this goes into a show. And we have sketches like that in our touring company cast where the people of Green Lake will be able to see some of our best sketches, our archive material that's been performed by greats like Steve Carell and Colbert and Tina Fey and all that. But we also get to put some of our original material as well, too. And then, we have some improv scenes that we can put in as well, too. So these are just, you're freewheeling, we come out, we get a suggestion and we'll go and improvise like something like a moon landing or, a bad experience at a Starbucks, or a long line at the gas station or something like that. So, while we do a lot of sketch work, improv is in our DNA.
I imagine with the current states of the country the last few years, there are plenty of topics to improv about, right? And you guys work current events into that improvisation as well, right?
Mm-hmm. That is true. I mean, while we try to kind of, come into the mindset of like, we want to kind of have people forget their worries. It's tough to because, we're always surrounded by it. We're inundated by it. So we do our best to kind of not shy away from when we get those suggestions that might be a little bit more, not taboo, but like something that we might consider too fresh. But we try to play to what a lot of teachers at Second City say is play to the height of our intelligence, which is what do we do to honor the suggestion, but doing it in a way where we're not compromising our artistic integrity. And also we're not trying to make like cheap laughs or cheap jokes. We're trying to basically get the best laugh possible and maybe even have an audience go like, oh, I didn't see that coming. I didn't think about that. And that's really funny. So now more than ever, that tends to be a little bit more trickier, but in a way I kind of welcome it just because at the end of the day it's like you can't spend your time running away from it. We have to find a way to kind of come together and laugh over something and do it in a way where like everyone feels invited and has fun and can just really kind of forget their cares for 90 minutes. So
absolutely. We're talking with Rich Alfonso from the Second City. And Rich is going to be here coming up on July 16th, ThrasherOperaHouse.com for tickets. Tickets are going quick, so people get those relatively quickly here as well. As you sit back and you think about, man, this is a really cool gig. Tell us a little bit about the touring side of it. I imagine day in and day out of just hanging out with those people and making jokes and having such a good time laughing has got to be a fantastic experience.
I honestly can't think of like a better job, kind of going back to what I was saying before about, when I was just working an office job and just kind of stuck in a cubicle and just really like not feeling like I was supposed to be where I needed to be. There's some arduous days, where you're touring or you have long rehearsals or late shows and stuff like that. But the cast is what makes it, great. I mean, here you are with like 5 to 6 other people that are probably the funniest people that you ever meet, and you guys get to come up with stuff together and hang out together and perform to one another and be in awe of each other. It really is the best feeling. I mean, I can't imagine a lot of people can say they love every single one of their coworkers when they go in to work, and I honestly do. I don't think I've ever had an experience like that in my life, and honestly, I wouldn't trade it for anything else.
We talked about kind of your journey to becoming at Second City. Who are some of your favorites as growing up and kind of watching and comedians and those kind of things?
Oh man, well, I mean, talking about when I found Second City, I mean, one of the things that I was amazed at was the amount of people that had gone through there that I was like, oh, like I love them. Like they're great. Like I mean, I was a big Ghostbusters fan. I mean, still am a Ghostbusters fan. When I found out that Aykroyd and Ramis and all those guys were from Second City, I was just like, that's crazy. And that they would try to incorporate even Chicago stuff into their stuff. and then going all the way up to like Saturday Night Live, seeing, people like Chris Farley and then in later years, like right now, Chris Redd is an actor on SNL cast who I actually met at Second City. We're friends, and he was really on his way to like doing a lot of stuff at Second City while I was just taking classes. And I would say that some of the biggest people that I have yet to meet, but hopefully one day I would, is, I love Keegan Michael Key. He's fantastic. I love him as a performer. Amber Ruffin, who has a show right now on NBC's Peacock, is great. I love everything Steve Carell does. I mean, to me, there's really no funnier actor. And Stephen Colbert, just to kind of name a few.
You are all over social media, so if people want to learn more about you, where can they find you, Rich?
For me, they can actually go to my direct Instagram, Twitter, and even a TikTok account. I'm Rich_Alfonso, really simple. And then occasionally I'll get featured on Second City's Instagram and Twitter feed, and that's at the Second City, wherever social medias are available.
Perfect. We're so looking forward to having you folks in here coming up on Saturday, July 16th, 7:30 p.m. ThrasherOperaHouse.com is the website to get tickets. Rich, we'll see you in a few weeks.
Sounds great. I'll see y'all there.
Take care.